Are you fed up with your knee pain and just want a clear roadmap on how to get back to running? You're in luck. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to eliminate your knee pain without even having to set foot in the gym. We're going to go over the rehab phases, exercises that accompany each phase, and return to running protocols. Quick context, I'm Dr. Daniel, and over the past 4 years, I've helped over 500 runners eliminate their knee pain without canceling their races. Just like Hannah, she was stuck with knee pain for over a year. We built her up in 16 weeks and got her to run her first marathon completely pain-free. Let's jump in. We have 3 phases of rehab: mobility, strength, and coordination. And we want to make sure that we pass each phase with flying colors so we can successfully get back to running. So I see a lot of people trying to jump the gun. They go for mobility, they go to coordination. Or they do the opposite. They just stay in one phase. They continue to stretch, they continue to foam roll, and wonder why they're not getting better. So we want to go into mobility, progress to strength, and finally coordination. A lot of the times, mobility and strength can be worked together, and then we can build up to coordination. But we'll break all these phases down and give you specific exercises and how to master each phase. So the mobility phase, we can look at the knee, hip, and the ankle. For running, we don't need an excess amount of knee bending or knee flexion. A lot of people miss out on the ankle. And the ankle is really involved with that landing portion of running. As we run, we need a specific amount of degrees of ankle dorsiflexion. And if we don't, our foot and our entire chain can compensate. And a lot of the times what happens is our foot and knee, hip all collapse inwards. And this is okay to happen to a certain degree, but if it's an excess amount and it's happening because your ankle doesn't have the proper range of motion, this is something that's easily correctable that will prevent you or eliminate that knee pain. So in today's video, we'll focus a lot on that ankle joint. Going into that strength portion, we want to be able to build up to a point where we can do single leg exercises and eventually move on to that coordination portion, which will be hopping, plyometrics, that cyclical movement that responds or relates exactly to running. So with that strength portion, keep in mind, it can take 6 to 8 weeks to see good gains of strength. So this portion is often skipped or it's expedited way too quickly. We need to take our time and build up to that single leg squat. And I'm going to show you a specific program to go through to build up to that single leg squat. I recommend all my clients build up to being able to do 15 single leg squats without a crazy deviation or without pain. And then we can progress into that coordination phase. So this coordination phase might be the most important because this specifically relates to running. If our body is not ready to take on that impact that occurs during running, we're setting ourselves up for failure. So during this coordination phase, yes, we want to incorporate power and strength. However, we also want to improve the way that our knee absorbs the impact. And by doing this, this is going to set us up to run for a very long time. So we're going to go over specific ways on how to improve that shock absorption or landing portion of the run, as well as how to improve that power. So not only can you eliminate your knee pain, but you can get back to running faster than when your knee pain had even started. Okay, so now we've gone over the 3 phases of the rehab cycle: the mobility, strength, and coordination phase. So I want to take you through 3 different exercises, how to get started in each phase. So mobility-wise, we're actually going to be looking at the ankle. A lot of people get stuck on the knee joint specifically. However, when we have an issue with our knee while we're running, we're typically going to be in that landing phase, either that initial contact or even the mid stance as we call it. So in these phases, we're not going to be getting as much knee flexion or knee bending as we're going to need or as we're going to do when we're stretching. So to say that we need an excess amount of knee bending is really not necessary. So today we're going to focus more on ankle dorsiflexion. So ankle dorsiflexion is that movement where we're bringing our ankle or foot towards us, or what we do in this motion. As we've gone over, that's typically when someone has that knee pain. So if we're not getting the amount of ankle dorsiflexion needed, our foot is going to collapse in, which is called pronation. There is an okay amount of pronation. However, when it gets to be too much, the knee collapses in. It's going to increase that strain inside the knee. Each time we land, there's an equal and opposite force coming into the ground, into our body. So if we're landing like this, maybe for one run, it's okay. But during our marathon build, if we're doing this 4 to 6 days a week, we're gonna end up having some knee pain. So to start off, we're gonna do ankle dorsiflexion stretches. So what I recommend to start is just in standing, you're gonna just drive your knee over your toe. With this, you're going to feel a little bit of a stretch in the front of your ankle. You might feel it a little bit in the back of your calf area. Totally fine. So once this exercise feels pretty good, we can make this a little bit more aggressive. We can go into a kneeling position, and again, driving our knee over to our toe. Again, we might feel some stretch in the quad, in the knee. That's okay, but the main focus here is to stretch that knee over the toe. Hold for about 5 seconds, come back. Again, the main focus is that ankle mobility. So when we come back to running, our ankle is able to get into this position without compromising the knee. Strength. This is the portion that a lot of people really just like to skip. One, it's difficult. And two, it's just not as fun as more of the plyometric coordination or even just running itself. So to start with this phase, we need to appreciate where we want to get to. We want to get back to running, which is essentially a single leg hopping sport. So with the strength, we want to be able to progress to a single leg squat. And for what a lot of my clients I have them shoot for is being able to do 15 single leg squats at a time without any deviation or without any pain. And that's a good landmark to tell us, okay, let's now go on and move to the coordination phase. So how do we start with this strength phase? Again, with our main eyes set on that single leg squat. So break it down. We're going to start with a double leg squat. And a lot of the times, this might be painful. So what I recommend is doing more isometrics, longer holds in a pain-free range. So to start off, say we have our client squatting at this distance, it's uncomfortable, okay? So something that we can change is just get into a quarter squat. So we're about here, and then we're just going to hold it. Start with 30-second holds, build up to a minute. Once these start to feel pretty good, you're feeling more muscle burn than pain, then we can progress them, okay? With, again, our sight is single leg squat. So once we build up to quarter squat, we're able to come down with the squat. Then we can go into a staggered squat. One foot back, the other foot forward, and we want the involved leg on the back side. So I'll show you this way. And we're just going to, again, lean down into it. Same kind of deal. Hold 30 seconds to a minute. You're going to feel it more in your quads. You're going to feel a little bit in your glutes. You might even feel it in your calf. So these isometric or longer holds will allow you to build that muscle in that pain-free range. Again, we're going to go into a single leg squat. If you can't squat as far down, use a wall, use something to balance onto. Go into right before that pain-free range. If this is all you can do, go ahead and hold it. 30 seconds to a minute, feeling it in the quad, feeling the glute, no pain. 30 seconds to a minute. These are the 3 exercises that we can use to progress to that single leg squat. Again, our goal is going to be to shoot for 15 reps on one leg, no pain, no deviation. Last phase is the coordination. And this is everyone's favorite because it's fun, it really mimics running, and you know that you're getting close. So coordination, or that plyometric phase, is really all about developing that power as well as that ability to land nice and controlled and decrease that strain in your knee. So what I recommend a lot of my clients starting off with is what we call pogos. And if you've ever been on a pogo stick, you know it's just up and down continuously. So what we'll start with, just double leg, nice and easy. Just gonna be landing nice and softly up on your feet. And this can be progressed into several ways. So similar to the squats, we can do staggered, we can do single leg, and then of course we can progress it into more velocity and speed. So what I recommend is starting with a double leg pogo. Once that feels easy, going into a staggered, and then single leg. So with this, you're landing nice and softly on your toes. It's not really a big movement, but you feel pretty controlled. This is a good elementary exercise to really get your knee used to that up and down impact into your knee, so it feels comfortable, and it also gives you some confidence. So once that feels good, then we'll get into one of my favorite exercises, which is bounding. This is where you're going to hop from one leg to the other, and ideally you want to end up doing it continuously to really replicate running. So I recommend starting off small. You're on one leg, you're landing nice and soft. Stick the landing each time. When you're starting, you can just come back after every time. Nice and soft. Nice and soft. So we're basically building on every component that we've used so far. We've improved that ankle dorsiflexion. We've improved our strength in like that mid-range knee flexion or knee bending that we're having issues in the past. And now we're progressing to that jumping and repetitive cyclical running movement. So ideally, we would go right, left, and so on. Once that gets easy, we can just go right to right or left to left. So this is really the roadmap on how to put all these exercises together and relate them specifically to your running journey. Returning to running, the reason why you guys all came here. So with this, like I said previously, we can kind of overlap these items. I really recommend to try to include running within your rehab protocol. So with this, right now we probably aren't able to run 20, 30 minutes at a time, and that's okay. So something that we can do is we can break it down into intervals. What I recommend is the 1-to-1 ratio. So we jog for a minute, walk for a minute. Do that 10 times, 10 minutes of running, 10 minutes of walking, 20-minute workout. Very doable, very accessible. This will allow us to give us a baseline. Okay, how intense was your pain? Was it tolerable? When did your knee pain start? Did it end up going away? Were you able to warm up and feel better? This is a good starting point that we can eventually progress. Of course, we want to do more running than walking. Then we can do a 2-to-1 ratio. We do a 3-to-1 ratio until eventually we're just running 10, 20 minutes at a time. It's really hard to really focus on rehab, take that 4 to 6 weeks off completely from running, and then dive back into it. It's going to be hard. Your knee's not used to it. Your aerobic base is lost. So I really try to have all my clients continue to do some kind of running while we're rehabbing their knee. That way, everything ends up coming together, and then they are able to build up to their marathon preps, any kind of race preps that they want to get back into, or just running for fun. If you found this video helpful, like the video and subscribe to my channel. If you're tired of trying to put everything together that you watch online and you want a program that's actually designed based off of you, book a call in the link below and we'll talk about how we can get you back to running.